Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to, it's early, 7:21. I'm going to make Paul Hollywood scones now. I'm also going to make mine. I threw some butter in the freezer, because that's how I start mine. And I'm going to go ahead and mix up his recipe, and then I'm going to mix up my recipes, and then I'm going to do the clotted cream, and we're going to taste test it this morning. So kind of weird, he doesn't have any salt in his recipe, so no, it's unsalted butter and there's no added salt. So I never buy unsalted butter. I'd rather cook with salted butter anyway. But so I will not add salt and we'll see how it is. So he's using a strong white flour, which basically just means that it has more gluten in it. So there we go, G. Bread flour is going to be comparable. I had to look this up. So 500 grams. Butter. Alright, there's 50 grams of butter. So measure everything out here while I'm at it. Okay, so 80 grams of sugar. Okay. 5 teaspoons of baking powder. That's heavy on the baking powder. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'll do it just like he does so I get it right. Normally I just use the food processor because I'd rather not wash my hands so much. It's not necessarily because I don't want to get my hands dirty, it's just that Montana is so dry. I avoid washing my hands as much as possible just because my hands dry out. That's why I wear gloves when I do the dishes, or if I have to wipe the table off or clean the bathroom or anything, I end up using gloves just because it's so dry. So he said we don't want clumps, we just want crumbles, because he said we don't want pockets of butter. Alright, so I think that's good. So I'm going to add the sugar and the baking powder. Okay. And then milk, and not all of it. I want to see how it comes together. I hope it's worth it. Ugh, maybe it is a mess. Because his was a lot more wet. I'll just use all of it. So I can pour in all the flour. Okay, that's better. So, alright, I need some flour. And we're just going to fold it. There, it's starting to come together nicely. about where we want it. Right, put these in the oven.
You keep it, yeah. No, Mary. Pop it in. Use the 50 minutes and scone it over.
Alright, now time for my scone recipe. Forgot, I don't have a... So I need to put my scones on my blog because I have an old blog. Okay, so I have a base recipe. Doing 1 teaspoon compared to his 5 teaspoons because I like salt. My butter's been in the freezer. One egg. That's what we want. I'm going to stop it as soon as it comes together in the bowl. Alright, so that one's ready. Now I'll do the next one. This one I think I'll just do plain because I want to kind of compare it to Paul Hollywood. Looks good. Alright, here we go. No vanilla, no fruit, just very basic. Okay, time to get out the clotted cream. Okay, so now we're just going to separate the clotted cream. So this cream is on top, and that's the clotted cream. And they said the rest of this milk can be used for cooking. And my understanding is some people mix up the crunchy bits and some people don't. I think I'm going to. It's actually very thick like butter. It's kind of hard on top.
Are these scones?
Yeah, those are Paul Hollywood scones.
They look kind of different from those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a taste test.
All right. So then we have the milk. Okay, so no. Then you put some
Jelly on it?
jam on it. This is how they eat it. Okay, here we
Yeah, but
go.
it's still orange juice either
First
way.
bite.
I think the strawberry is a little overpowering.
It is. I agree. They use a lot of clotted cream.
I will take a spoonful.
Go ahead.
Doesn't really taste like anything.
No. Tastes like cream.
Well, I mean, even in the Chateau show, they were talking about having salted butter being a rarity.
Yep. So this recipe didn't have any salt in it. I used unsalted butter, no salt added, and then there's no salt in the cream. So right. So what do you think of Paul Hollywood scones? Yeah.
They're good. I think I prefer yours.
Yeah, I think they're kind of bland. It's like a biscuit. It's very much like a
It's
baking powder biscuit.
It's more of a biscuit you would eat with dinner than a scone.
Americans with unrefined taste buds.
Yep. Yep. We're unrefined. All right, scones are made. I've got them all ready and headed to my friend Sherelle's house to, we're watching the American Gospel with a few girls. It's a really excellent documentary. I would highly recommend it. So I made these plain scones to kind of compare them with Paul Hollywood scones, and I have to say there's just, I'm sorry, Paul, I really admire you, but I think it's just what we grow up with, because there's certain things that like are nostalgic and we taste them and we're like, oh yes, this is comforting. And so to eat a completely English scone, it was just like a plain old biscuit, maybe a little lighter than a biscuit. Yeah, it was lighter than a biscuit, and sweeter, but it was similar, and that's it. It was just a and the clotted cream is it's just creamy. There's not a lot of taste to it. It's kind of like butter and cream mixed together with no salt. So it's just kind of creamy-ish, and a lot of texture with the things, with the clotted cream, the jam, and the scones, but not a lot of flavors. So anyway, I asked the kids and Brian to clean up the house. The kitchen's not bad, but the floors definitely need it. And I'll fill in wherever I need to when I get home. But here we go. All right, time to head home. All the ladies loved the scones and clotted cream, and they really enjoyed it. So apparently I'm the picky one. They're not picky. They loved it. So it was good. Movie was good. And now I get to make the chocolate cake that I am to make for Roger's birthday. So pretty much everything homemade. It's delicious, so don't need to worry about that. Time to make the chocolate cake. I don't really pay attention to how much I cook or bake until I'm doing videos and they're like, huh, I do this a lot. But I do enjoy it. I mean, sometimes I get tired of cooking. Like I've cooked, well, so I got married in 95, but I started cooking before that. Like when I was at home, like I cooked because I think my mom was tired of cooking. And so like a couple years before that, it's almost 30 years that I've been cooking like every day. So I do get tired of cooking, but I like to bake. I don't bake recipes. I don't make desserts very often because I don't like to have a lot of sugar. I don't like our family to have a lot of sugar. But making it for other people and then going to their house and eating it and then like not bringing any home, that's a good compromise. So I did find a different cake recipe. This is the most amazing chocolate cake. It came up like first page of Google. It looked really good. It's from the stayatHomeChef.com. And then I'm gonna just use a chocolate mousse because that recipe that I saw last night looked great. It wasn't an actual chocolate mousse though. It was like a chocolate whipped cream, which would probably still taste good, but I'm gonna go for traditional chocolate mousse, and this one is from recipe10eats.com, and it looked really good. I watched her do a video, and it has eggs in it, which I think do better because I've made chocolate mousse with eggs before, and it was wonderful. So let's get started. So Brian and I just ran to the grocery store. Jesse, our number 2 son, came and picked up the kids so they could go play video games at his house, which he does every weekend, which is super sweet. They get about half an hour of video game time. If they read, they get more time, but they didn't read a lot this week, so they just get half an hour because they have to read an hour to get an extra 10 minutes. So it has to add up. But anyway, so Brian and I ran to the grocery store. Gonna make the kids some macaroni and cheese for dinner, and I wanted to get some meat to put in it. And they had cereal on sale, which is their organic stuff, and this is our favorite cereal. So it was a good sale, so I bought quite a bit of that, and I'll have to try to shove it into the cupboard. Now I'm going to make the frosting, and hopefully the mousse has set up. We can frost the cake, and then we need to head out to Roger for his birthday party. Party was good, food was good, cake was good, nice little gathering. But I realize I'm not much of a cake person. Like, people were eating the cake and they were like, oh, this is good. But I ate the cake and I was like, it's good cake. But what I consider bad cake is like Albertsons cake. I really don't like Albertsons cake. Any store cake, pretty much any store-bought cake, I don't care for. Homemade cake is just good. It's not like if I ate a cinnamon roll or a donut or cookies, then I like those. I can be like, oh, these are good or these are okay. But like cake, it's always just, it's good. Came home, unloaded the dishwasher, washed dishes. Again, it feels like I did it 4 times today. I don't know, maybe when I watch the video I might see that I actually did 4 times. But anyway, now I'm wiped and peopled out. So gonna take a shower and go to bed. Thanks for joining me today.